That's the juice. And it's very exclusive to our company. A lot of people do oregano oil, but not the juice. And why is that? Well, we didn't, when we visited the villagers in Turkey, we like to ask them, "Hey, what have you guys been doing for the past
Right.
couple hundred years? You tell us. You're the ones who are up close and personal with this every day." We'll be classy, not name anyone today, or throw anyone under the
Sure.
bus, but every brand that we tested, including any farmed oregano that we tested, was lower in biological activity, substantially lower, sometimes 3 times lower in biological activity, and antioxidant levels were significantly lower. We also do 4 different strains of oregano. And so we make sure that they find all 4 of those strains for us instead of just one, which makes it even more potent.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Healthy Habit Podcast, episode number 85. And we're live right here in the house with Mr. Steven Harkins for our monthly check-in to finish off 2023 on the strongest note possible here. Steven Harkins is the Director of Education at North American Herb and Spice over in Illinois, but he does travel all across the country doing presentations and visiting different health food stores just like ours. And obviously ours is his favorite one here in Phoenix, right, Steven?
Obviously, yes, yes.
Well, welcome back to the podcast, Steven. How are we doing?
I'm doing great. Grateful for my health. I was one of the things I was going to ask you here in the show is what you've been seeing in your area. I'm curious to learn because we're seeing a lot of people come down with the crud over here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we find, just like me and Stan the Demo Man, we're just talking this whole week. We see customers and patients come into the store and clinic here. We're in the midst of cold, flu, and COVID here in Phoenix. We're getting a resurgence of the C19. So
Yes.
let's talk how we can build up our immunity and wellness. That's the biggest reason people are looking into health products nowadays, this to end off the year. Even to start off, this would be a good episode to set the stage for 2024 winter season.
Yes. Yeah. So if once you do see this podcast, I know that it will be later than when we recorded it. So the situation will be even more dire by the
Right.
time that you see this. But what you can do immediately is one of the best things that you can do first and foremost in our belief is pick up a bottle of oregano oil for yourself. This will help you on multiple fronts. For one, it will give you a boost to your immune system. And your immune system, we talked about it in the last episode, some of the new findings on the immune system and how if you're supporting it optimally, it will take care of things for you. Why is it that we go into public places? Well, we have to. We have to go grocery shopping. We have to, take our kids to school. We have to do certain things.
Right.
But why is it that, your family member or your friend was in the same place as you were, they got sick and you didn't? That's because your immune system is optimally functioning. You may have some vitamins. You may not have the deficiencies that other people have, which leaves them vulnerable. And you may have some other herbal strategies that are not getting you sick. We've had people sick in our office. I've had people sick in my church. Some of my in-laws got sick. And here we are, no issues, knock on wood. And that's not by accident. It's not genetics necessarily. It's what we do with our bodies and what we put into our bodies proactively. Oregano is one of the best things you can do. It's also going to protect you against oxidative stress, which I know is pretty high this time of the year.
Absolutely. And we do have Stan the Demo Man in house here at Healthy Habit Health Foods, right in the corner of Bethany Home and 7th Street in Central Phoenix. And he'll be demoing the North American Herb and Spice products that we're discussing here today with Steven every Friday and Saturday, where it's a packed house here at the store at Healthy Habit. He'll have free books authored by Dr. Cass Ingram, the late great, with any purchase of products that we're discussing. And he has samples, literature, everyday low prices here through North American Herb and Spice. Go see Stan the Demo Man for the best in immune products that we have here in town. So I want to start with Oreganol P73 because it's the classic. It's really what put NAHS, North American Herb and Spice, on the radar for a lot of people here in North America, really, especially in the United States. Why does your brand of oregano cost more than others? That's an important question we get. People are always looking at prices. They're comparing. I think it's I think it's every bit worth the slight increase in price. But let's hear about it.
Yes, yeah. Well, when we price an item, what we have to take into consideration is the cost to make it. Um, what's the cost of the raw material? What's the cost to harvest it? What's the cost to extract it and bottle it and the labor and all of that. And yeah, you'll go to some shelves. We're not the only oregano brand out there. There's a couple dozen out there, at least. And you'll see that we're commonly in the premium amount, or we're definitely higher in dollar amount. That is because our quality is higher. And so there was a couple of decisions that we had to make. We could have just taken some seeds and got some land here in Illinois and did some greenhouse and just grow it here. And that would have saved us over the years, that would have saved us many thousands of dollars. And then we could have priced it for you even cheaper. But what we did is we tested it. We went to the mountains, we got the oregano from the mountains, knowing and reading that wild herbs have higher antioxidant levels, more biological activity, more benefits to the human body. And we said, well, let's test it and see if that's really the case. So, not to be too technical, we found out, we tested other brands even. We'll be classy, not name anyone today or throw anyone under the
Sure.
bus, but every brand that we tested, including any farmed oregano that we tested, was lower in biological activity, substantially lower, sometimes 3 times lower in biological activity, and antioxidant levels were significantly lower. So, in order to go to the mountains, in places like Turkey, you know, you have to um, harvest it from the wild. You have to pay people to climb up the thousands of feet that it takes to harvest this oregano. It's rough terrain. You have to pay them fairly. And then ultimately we steam distill it. We put the best organic cold pressed olive oil as a carrier so that you get the best reception benefit. And all of that goes into cost. And that is essentially why ours is more.
Amazing. So when people hear oregano, it's not just one, there's different strains, different growing seasons, different ways to cultivate it, right? It's not
Yes,
just
there
one
is.
strain universally and that's it. Depends
I
on the
used to think it
environment.
was,
Yeah.
but I wish it was that simple. There's over 80 different strains
Wow.
that are out there. People are always just just shocked, to hear that stat.
That's unbelievable. Yeah. So North American Urban Spice, they go above and beyond to really source the best quality oregano and make sure, because I'm sure you've gotten batches where you guys have tossed out. You haven't even used it, correct?
Yeah, yeah, because we get testing from our supplier in Turkey, and then we do testing here. We have our own equipment for that. And then we test third party just to confirm everything. And if there's anything that looks off, yeah, we don't do it at all. And we do get it wild. People always ask, how is that possible to sustain? How can you be really getting it wild? Surely you're farming it. And we say, it is because it's a perennial herb. It grows back every year. However, um, if you overpick it or if the goats get to it too much because they love this oregano stuff, we have to let the land rest, and we've done that as well. So we've gone a whole season no picking just to preserve that supply.
Got it. So, what's your common response to when someone says, "Can't I just make my own oregano oil or go to the local Home Depot and get one of those
Yes.
little pots of oregano and put it on their
Yeah.
windowsill and use that over their salad or something?" How do you respond to that?
Man, I've heard that so much over the years, and I can understand where that mentality comes from. But I can tell you, working for the manufacturer, seeing the test up close and knowing that there's different strains, if you're really, there's only like a small handful of the 80 strains that give you the benefit that you're really looking for. I mean, look what you're going up against. Look how many different respiratory ways our respiratory system is under attack during this season. And if you want the strongest, most potent protective substance you can get from nature, you can only really go with about 6 different strains. Most of those strains are not what you find in your spaghetti. It's not what you get from, your seasoning aisle at the grocery store. I was visiting Mexico and was telling some people what I do, and the guy said, "Look, I have oregano in my garden." And he was showing it to me, and I was trying to explain to him in Spanish, which is not easy for me. I'm still learning that, no es lo mismo. It's not the same as the oregano that fortunately oregano is very close in Spanish.
Right.
It's not the same, and this one is mejor, this one is better. And then when you taste it, guys, you can tell the difference in potency and strength versus making your own at home. And not there's nothing wrong with doing it, and you do get some benefit. I don't want to completely say you don't,
Right.
but
Of course.
if you really want to be, it's like insurance. You want the best coverage, you got to go to the Mediterranean to do that.
Right, where you steam distill it and you get an exact amount of milligrams per serving. You know you're getting a medicinal dose. It's not
Yeah,
just a little bit over your salad or something like that where you eat
yeah,
it. So especially maybe you can hit on the warming nature of it, especially in the fall and winter. That's something that we haven't covered too much. Like this is a whole different kind of branch of medicine, Chinese perspective, where they look at whether an herb is cooling or heating or
yeah.
warming for the body. How important is that to get more warming or heating herbs, blood movers in the
It's
winter?
super, super duper important, Ayurveda, and even reading a book right now by Hippocrates, the one who said, "Let food be thy medicine." And they talk a lot about how important seasons go into your choice for herbs and their choice for how they treated people back in those days. And like for example, when you guys get super hot in the summertime, ashwagandha is a cooling herb. It's known as
Okay.
rasayana in Ayurveda, and you can cool off with ashwagandha. So oregano is a warming herb, like ginger and others, and turmeric as well. And oregano is something you're certainly gonna warm up. It's called thermogenic activity. It's gonna boost your metabolism function, and it's also going to topically. You can also help with circulation, help stimulate and invigorate circulation, especially if you've got some restless legs, hands, and feet. Um, and if you put it on your skin, you will feel the heat. You absolutely feel it, and that's a good thing during the winter time. And you can use it accordingly.
So if someone's new to the oregano world and they get, let's say, the super strength liquid tincture and they take it and that thing burns. So is that normal? Is that something you get used to? How much is too much? Give us a little bit of breakdown on that. People that are just trying to get started with this herb. They've never used it
Yes,
before.
I want to embrace you all to. I want to encourage you all to embrace the burn. Dr. Ingram would always tell us, that's the means that you're cooking it out. That means it's working. Dr. Ingram even used to have me put oregano oil on sunburns, and it would actually prevent me from peeling. So go figure. Oregano, it does have some heat. The super strength is about 3 times the potency of the regular strength. And that one is ideal if you are struggling with something, you've got the cough, you've got the wheezing going on. Absolutely go for the super. What you can do is for your first time, you can do a few drops in something like tomato juice. You can put it in things like citrus fruit juices, such as orange juice or grapefruit juice. You can even, the main thing is take it, put it in your marinara, put it in your chili, or if you want to try a couple drops under the tongue, it doesn't need to touch the top of your tongue. That's where your taste buds are. And so you can avoid that extra spicy hit just by going under the tongue and then drinking water and swallowing together. If you swallow the oregano before you swallow the water, you will taste more of that oregano up front. If you swallow the water with the oregano together, it will be a smoother uh, process for you. And so those
Right.
are some tips for your first time.
That's good. Next time people are making their pasta, they can throw that in there, right?
Oh
Boost that
yeah,
flavor. You can even put it on
think
top of
about it. Yeah,
pizza.
we already put it in there, but then this is, as you were mentioning before, this is much more concentrated
Right.
than just an herb alone.
And then Dr. Cass, Steve, and I were all fans of the liquid version for that potent effect. But then you also have the soft gels available, right?
We do, yeah. So we have soft gels. You don't have to taste it. and you can still get the benefit. And of course, it's going to go through your stomach, and maybe you have some digestive imbalance that you want to work on, um, or even like you ate food and you have an upset stomach. You can absolutely use it to support your digestion as well. And so, yeah, you don't have to taste it. I do prefer topical. Having the ability to use a liquid for the skin, it helps clear up blemishes that I get sometimes on my face. You can use it for rashes. You can use it again to help warm your body, and it does have some natural inflammation supporting effects internally and externally. So if you're in pain,
Right.
absolutely give it a try.
Awesome. So we have the oregano oil. There's a super strength and the normal strength. We even have the juice. So like the essence, the juice of the oregano. How does this
Yes.
differentiate?
Well, I brought some actually, so I can
Let's see this.
give you like a visual. That's the juice, and it's very exclusive to our company. A lot of people do oregano oil, but not the juice. And why is that? Well, we didn't when we visited the villagers in Turkey. We like to ask them, "Hey, what have you guys been doing for the past
Right.
couple hundred years? You tell us. You're the ones who are up close and personal with this every day." And they said, you know what we have been doing for a few hundred years is we've been using the steam distilled extract, um, with so the water from the steam distillation bonds with the oregano molecules like carvacrol. You may have heard of that one, and now it's not fat soluble like the oil, it's water soluble. So that means it can get into the body faster. It can get up to the brain, cross the blood brain barrier, and help with oxygen. It's very rich in oxygen molecules. And this is really good for your respiratory function. I know a lot of what we have found over the last few years is with that congestion in the chest, it's an absolute must. So if you've got any kind of phlegm, mucus, and you're just struggling, you've spent days and you just can't get this stuff out, I would even say, take this home, sip this bottle for 1 day until the bottle's done. And then from there, you can just kind of give yourself like an ounce a day until you start to feel better. And this has been a game changer for people with that issue.
So that's more of the steam distilled kind of vapor into a juice format. You're hitting it from a different angle.
Yeah, exactly. You
Wow.
get the raw herb, which we also do, and you can sprinkle that on your foods. And that's like, I always like to say it's like McCormick on steroids because you can't get this kind of herb in the stores.
Right.
And then you've got the oil, that's the big daddy, but then here the juice. And this is especially again for your brain function and your respiratory support.
Amazing. And for the online viewers, I pulled up here through NorthAmericanHerbAndSpice.com and their shop. This is the Oreganol P73 juice, different from what we were talking about in the first half of this interview, which was the Oreganol P73 soft gels and the liquid tincture. So, aromatic oreganol juice is a powerhouse to the extreme, being a traditional therapy in the Mediterranean for hundreds of years. It's different than the oil, as Steven just went over, as this is the water phase produced by distillation. You're literally capturing all that. It's almost like the essential oil, what you can smell of the essential oil oregano, but you're capturing that into a juice format. That's a powerful method of getting oregano and very unique. I don't know of any other company that's offering a juice of wild oregano. Steven, do you?
No, I don't, even to this day. And we've been carrying it for the last few decades. And it's water soluble. So you can totally put it in your water. You can put it in your juice and even smoothies.
How important is this? You can see here on the bottle, guaranteed wild. What is that? Why is that so important compared to, let's just hear your thoughts. Why is that important to have a wild oregano?
Well, I would ask the question with the question. I love to do that sometimes when I
Right.
can. So, why is it important for you to get a wild salmon versus a farmed GMO
Interesting.
salmon? Why is it important for you to get a wild strawberry or a wild blueberry versus the same brand that we see in all of the stores across the country that may be actually grown indoors?
Right.
Um, it's because, and you taste it, right? You taste the difference. you taste the flavor in a wild, and that flavor that you're tasting is things like the flavonoids, the antioxidants. And so it's the same with oregano. Also, the contamination. It is rampant in our world. Besides the genetically modified organisms that are invading our planet, we've got issues with pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, issues with neurotoxicity, um, endocrine toxicity, just toxins everywhere. So if you can get off the beaten path and you can get into a remote place, there's still a few left in this world where it's untouched by contamination. You are going to have basically, if food is your medicine, that's where you need to go.
And then our kids able to, we talked about the intensity, the burning potential, and not
Yes.
literally burning yourself, but it just feels like that. It's an intense taste with the liquid and it has a powerful effect. Are kids able to take this? How young is too young?
Well, I would say this, my own experience, I got started young with my aunt being the founder here of the company. So when I was 10 years old, I used oregano. I used to get these mouth ulcers, canker sores kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the one thing that actually helped me when I would get those. Of course, I was eating like sour candies and all kinds of stuff when I was a kid. But that really helped me with that. And I when I would get sick or things like that, they would give me like drops. But you can go earlier. And the good thing is, since that time, since I was a kid, now they developed a actual children's line. So we have a version of oregano. This one right here,
Okay.
Orega-cinn. And this is actually for children. It's the oregano oil P73. It's a little watered down so that, and I would say children as young as 4 or 5 have had this with no problem. And you can, of course, dilute this a little further if you want. And these are just drops with cinnamon and oregano, kind of like cinnamon red hots for children. And you can absolutely do that. Of course, and I may mention we have a newborn. She'll be 2 months tomorrow, and she's doing
Congratulations.
good. Her name is Haley, and we are already, trying to build her immunity. We're putting oregano oil under her feet, and under her feet, she's getting it absorbed into her skin, and it's helping go into her lymphatics, which is helping her immune function. So you can massage the oil on the back, on the spine, on the shins, and especially on the bottoms of the feet to get it in the system. Very clever way to do that. And then once they get to be about, I would say even like 2 or 3, you can put this in things like applesauce and some of the soft foods and things, and they can still be getting a few drops of immune support there.
Haley Harkins. It's going to be the next big time herbalist. So stay
Yeah,
tuned for that, folks. That's classic herbal wisdom, and Dr. Cass was big on that. You can put it on the back, the spine, and the bottoms of the feet. Those are highly porous areas that absorb herbs into the system, right?
that's right.
And so let's finish off talking about Orega-RESP. We have about 3 minutes to go here, but at least give us an intro. And by the way, if you're viewing this online, you can see on the top left of the screen there on Steven's side that whole family that we covered today. The 2 bottles there, which is the Oreganol P73 soft gels. Far left is the liquid version that we talked about. And then right in the middle there, you have that juice of the oregano, which Steve held up to the screen. I pulled it up here on the share screen on the website, and you can see it right there on the poster. So keep that in mind, and definitely come see Stan the Demo Man, folks. He's 4 decades in this health field. He knows what he's talking about. People
Yes, he
from all
does.
around the city come in looking for Stan the Demo Man. So let's finish off on Orega-RESP. How is this different and unique than what we've discussed today?
Yeah, so the OregaRESP is we've been trying to get Aretha Franklin to do a for years, but unfortunately it's too late. But bad joke. Anyways, OregaRESP is for your respiratory support first and foremost. And we've had this product for many years. Over the last few years, it's become highly sought after. And a little interesting unknown fact, this is our strongest multiple spice extract in the company. It's a little different than just oregano oil. That's because we took oregano with 4 other powerful spices that have been studied for their potency, and that would be your cumin, your sage, your ginger, and cinnamon. Start them off with a 100% essential oil form, and then vacuum dry that into a concentrated spice oil powder. And so one capsule is like 50 drops of Oregano P73. So this is the big bazooka for your respiratory function when you need it.
Amazing. That's the OregaRESP. So that goes even deeper then and covers even more bases, but it's more of a combo instead of just pure oregano. It's going to have a
Yes,
bunch of different, it doesn't even say on there multiple spice formula.
multiple spice. Yes, it does. And so the idea is here with things like ginger, you're working on supporting inflammation, just like oregano does. Things like cinnamon, we know that's viral support, just like oregano is, and blood sugar. There's a lot of other crossover benefits beyond respiratory function. Cumin helps with bronchial restriction. So you've got that congestion. Cumin, by the way, people talk about NAC for boosting your glutathione, antioxidants. Is known to help boost glutathione production in your body up to 600%. And it's
Wow.
doing it as a whole spice. And so you're getting that, oxidative stress component as well. I like to put this and this together for a lot of people, especially if that congestion is present. And this is your 1-2 punch to get you through the season. I know that I've used it many times, and I like to use it proactively, just so I don't go down that road.
Unbelievable. What are your final? That's OregaRESP, folks, like respiratory. Orega, like oregano. OregaRESP. And we're all stocked up and ready to go here at Healthy Habit Health Foods and Medical Center. Come grab your OregaRESP. Try Fridays and Saturdays. Those are when it's a packed house. Everyone comes down. People have been coming to our store, Steven. I'm sure you know this, for 20, 25 years now. It's been incredible. We have an amazing community here. So
Yes, you
come
do.
grab your OregaRESP and maybe some juice of oregano to get you right here to finish off 2023. By the way, this episode is going to be airing this coming, so Tuesday, December the 12th. So that will be out
Mm,
basically
great.
5 days from now from when we're recording this. So it'll be fresh info for everybody. So what are your final words of wisdom in about 30 seconds? Let's hear what you want to leave us with here for the immune system.
Yeah, I just want to say, start now. If you're not sick, keep it that way. If you're feeling under the weather, do something. The faster you act, the better. The clock is ticking. I have a friend who was sick and he kind of ignored it, and then he's still sick, and it's been 3 weeks and he just can't get it over. Now he's trying to get more serious. Kind of should have started getting serious in the beginning. And also this, don't worry about taking our oregano on a daily basis. We're the only brand out there, Dr. Dehan, that says you can take our oregano products every single day. And that's because it is wild, going back to that, and it's low in things like Thymol, not too high in things like Carvacrol. So we know what we're doing in the formula so that you can have that peace of mind, that you can even take a small amount of oregano on a daily basis. Just get ahead of the game for yourself.
Right. Well, thank you, Stephen, for your time. Always appreciated. We thank you. The whole team here at Healthy Habit thanks you.
Thank you all.